Well, greetings everyone. Don't everyone else hearing that? Oh, I'm perfectly audible to everyone. Not everyone can hear you all yet. Now they can. God help us all. Right, I'm live as you can see.
To ever exist.
Let us behave ourselves, please.
No!
No one truly expects good behavior here.
Oh, there seems to arrive.
As you can see, I am live with Alan Smith, Ezub,
Hey.
Orla Seraph, the Smoking Rat, that thing, and of course, Real Miss Team. Did I get Blackout?
Hello!
Hold on.
Hey, sexy.
So, any
You
case,
want me
I
to go
hope...
onto the table again?
Yeah, I regret fixing the
No
elevator
one...
now.
Look, no one believes that that's the important thing. Yes, here's the thing. We are joined by a wide variety in the chat already, including Tommy Caro, Roger Wilco, who made a point of being here on time this time. Back out in the chat as well, probably just to sneak into the call. Greetings to the Infidel, Aquamadula, greetings and salutations, Nerdy Rodent, Green Badger Outdoors, Lincoln DMZ, Brad Young, Nightwolf, Natani Caro, your boy Pat. Hi. But how's
You
it?
missed Argot.
And of course, Argon. Look, my lenses are fogging up. It's damnably hot here, hotter than it should be. And does anyone really expect this to go smoothly in the first place? Also, I'm hearing a faint hum from someone. Please do. Maybe you
I
have
am
a
hearing
fan.
Hey, my computer's blowing hot.
Okay, seems to have stopped.
Hum seems to, yeah.
Okay, well then, in any case. You're a mod because, well, while I don't make quite the ritual of it that Joker does, I tend to throw out wrenches on the general assumption that you won't use it for anything, really. You know, so... The blue text is pretty, I presume. Oh, it's 108 in Tucson, where your boy Pat is. So it could be worse.
Fuck you, Spinal. Sorry.
That's quite the sustained gust, if so.
Oh, fuck you, Concubine 48.
Where'd that come from?
To be honest, I don't know how many concubines I have. It's just
No, she just keeps calling him 48 at this point.
yeah. Listen, I don't know how many concubines I have. I just start claiming people as concubines and then end up raping them one day.
Or until you shit them.
Look, all I know is that I warned you all. Whatever happens is on your heads, not mine. Well, I'm gonna have an angry the Engaged Shield turn up because he did send a donation with a message precisely as I shut down, which made it quite impossible to deliver on it. But if they do turn up, we'll be revisiting the topic that was relevant, so we can get that debt settled. In the meantime, I suppose we could go through with news. There's a lot of things going on out there, most of it's quite depressing. This one isn't, though, as recommended by Orla Seraph. FL Silence reports the US Space Force has a horse.
Oh yes, speaking of that.
Dead. I believe it's been settled.
The windows. The Ezub incident. You still haven't paid me on that. You still haven't reimbursed me for my trauma. Well, my employee's trauma, but...
There was a lot of trauma.
There was a lot of trauma. Yes, I suppose we should do something to recompense at least this particular iteration of Izub.
Well, I mean, that one, like, it's been dead for a few weeks now.
So has a couple of the ones in between. What's your point? In fact, 3 of them are now sitting in a containment cell with a bear that's being shipped to Arketer Labs.
That's the spirit.
I am proud of you. I am proud of you. You know, like, the first few times we cloned you, you just freaked out and then tried to kill yourself, but now you just take it in stride. Great.
Oh, at this point, I've disposed of so many of my own body, it's kind of become blasé.
The Izu pipeline is a very unusual thing.
Truly, one can become accustomed.
Well, then that's how you know you're going to get something on it.
I think we're on 192, but I'm not sure how many fell down the stairs.
Come. Something's got to get on the dress.
God damn it, at least this dress was clean for like 2 minutes.
The US Space Force was always going to be in for a bit of mockery online, but they haven't made it easy on themselves, as well as there being nobody to fight in space. So far as we know. There's the fact that their uniforms are camo. How many trees are there expecting to find in space? Which is true for many military branches that have no reason to have camo. To be fair. And their logo is pretty much exactly the logo from Star Trek, which was itself based off of the NASA logo, so not quite exactly. Now that all the spheres have calmed down, they've gone and got themselves a horse. Yes, that's right, Space Force has a horse, and people are a bit confused about its role. And I really expected to make that rhyme last a bit longer. Space Force has a horse feels like it needs to go on with something else. Space Force has a horse,
of course it has a horse.
Space Hall.
Of course it has a horse.
I hate to say it, but Star Wars did it first.
Star Wars had a horse first?
Does no one else remember the most recent travesty of a movie where they ride horses up the outside of the spaceship?
That's the
Space
last
ponies.
Jedi, but yeah.
I was afraid you were referring to that. I thought maybe there was some scene... Look, I'm not certain they did do it first. Wasn't the Space Force founded before they came out with that abomination?
But did the Space Force have the horse before that?
You know, that's a very good question. We'll have a date for it shortly. In a tweet on Thursday, the Space Force confirmed that protecting our assets in space involves many unique aspects, including looking after military horses. United Space Force Twitter account, really a great idea, said, "You have heard of MW dog, but what about an MW horse? Protecting our access to space involves many unique aspects, including welcoming at 30 the Space Wing's newest military working horse to their Conservation Military Working Horse program. Ghost is a 5-year-old BLM National Mustang. Black Lives Matter National
Military
Mustang.
working horse.
Let's see, what was the date on this? This was posted July 23rd, 2020, so... if this is the first point they got a horse, then you are correct, Yuzub. They must have, surely they didn't take inspiration from that abomination.
One would hope not. Though, I mean, technically speaking, for space exploration, a horse isn't the worst idea.
I mean, they already sent rabbits and cockroaches and all sorts
Well, that
of
was for experimentation. A horse in space, if you actually find an M-class planet, a horse is one of your easiest to maintain forms of transportation.
Yeah, they managed to send jellyfish up there. The jellyfish are a lot harder to maintain up than transportation.
Well, generally because they sting the shit out of your junk when you sit on them, but that's neither here nor there.
I like it when they sting my junk.
It's because you can't feel your junk. Your junk is
Yeah.
literal junk.
I mean, like, there's a battery in there, and she gets this specifically, like, a genetically modified electric jellyfish.
I've heard of jellyfish being used for a lot of things, but modes of transportation is an application I don't think I've ever heard applied. I can only assume that steampunk Victorian London has significantly larger and more useful jellyfish on this point.
She's not referring to them as transport.
I was saying that
well,
they sent jellyfish up into space. What the fuck are you talking about? We don't have...
Maybe I misheard. After all,
You
half
did
things I do hear
say
correctly, I have a hard
form of
time.
transport.
One of the serfs trying to run a joke in the chat of the call asking, what does a horse and Arketer have in common? Oh boy. What does...
What's the answer to this conundrum?
Oh no.
Oh, there's no cock like horse cock.
I will play that clip. Easy.
No. 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 No, no, no. No. Infidel, space with giant space dicks
I
on a
actually
ship.
agree with him. No, I don't agree with that at all. He's 3 inches. A horse is way bigger than that.
I mean, it's like, it could be a mini horse.
I do hope you're surviving heat, by the
A
way.
mini
or what,
horse is still bigger than that, Froman.
A very mini horse.
Okay. Moving back to the topic of whole horses. Not just the ones recently made into terribly, horribly catchy songs.
Whole and horse together like that.
Yeah, I saw that in Berserk. Don't wanna do that. Yeah.
People, including the US Navy's Chief of Information, were quick to question what the hell was going on. With, of course, Star Trek memes. Star Trek apparently had horses first, too. Honestly, if Star Wars and Star Trek had horses, why shouldn't Space Force?
In the next generation, I mean, they had holographic horses.
Yeah, which made a lot more sense than actually taking a horse onto a spaceship, because they can't really be happy running around up there, and if you let them into a holodeck, does a holodeck actually clean up all the shit they leave around?
If it's holographic shit, then yes.
Holographic, yes, so you can't keep real horse in a holodeck. That's going in poorly,
Well,
I imagine.
it's a holodeck malfunction while the horse
One
is there.
episode in the next generation
If-
actually claims that the ship was self-cleaning. So it would.
Look, that's good to hear.
You're
If I
all
was...
nerds, I hate you all.
Can you imagine being the poor bastard who has to
Yeah.
clean up the holodeck after Riker's been in there afterwards? If it wasn't automatically self-cleaning, that's how you force people into red shirts.
I mean, you could also look at it as like, what was it with Voyager? They only had like 150 people on the crew, I thought, or no, they had like 700 people on the crew, but that was a big ship, and you know they were 70 years and only had coworkers to work with.
Computer, activate TV light.
It's
Oh,
disgusting.
please, you're wrong.
Computer act great function.
Well, that's what happens before the UV light on the holodeck.
Can't see why
But
anyone
no, I
thinks
was
Space
telling
Force is
them
necessarily
great
waste manpower money, but have
victim
they
of ours.
Force training program.
Of course, that was the first thing that came up.
And people question why, when people don't have the personal protective equipment they need, the US's Space Force is wearing full body armor while brushing their horse. Well, because the military tends to get a bit of a priority in funds in general. It rather makes sense for the most part. But mainly the question was this pleasing rhyme, why on earth do you need a Space Force horse? Which the answer apparently is the Space Force have sort of been landed with a conservation program that used to be run by the Air Force. I guess to keep them busy while we wait for aliens to fight. The video explains that the working horses are part of the conservation program, but are also used to access and patrol parts of the perimeter of the 30th Space Wing Vandenberg Air Force Base that aren't easily accessible by foot or vehicle. Which actually makes perfectly good sense. And I see that, I just find that really quite funny. They got stuck with a horse conservation program. Well, that's what they get for bringing under the Air Force. They need a whole new branch entirely, in my opinion. We're able
Well,
to go through...
Air Force has controlled space for a while now, so...
Yeah. We were able to go through creeks and water with the horses, high hills that we wouldn't be able to get through with off-road vehicles. US Air Force's Senior Airman Mike Brazos, 30th SFS Conservation Patrolman, said in a separate piece explaining the conservation program, "There are places where we've gone where the water is so deep that my boots are wet while on horseback, but the horses can walk through with no problem. We enforce fish and game laws, and the horses help us walk off the beaten path to complete our mission," he later added, ensuring that the tongue twister, the Space Force's Space Horse, sure enforce fish laws. Will that go in mini mine for the next month? Which I doubt, because that's a pretty crap rhyme overall. Space Force is Space Force, for sure enforce fish laws. But they really don't stick the landing on that one, do they? So apparently no plans on sending these horses into space, at least yet.
I mean, it would be funny sending a horse into space.
Yeah, not really.
It's just a horse like going, what the fuck's going on?
It'd have to be a very, very
Elon
well
Musk
trained
would laugh his
horse,
head off.
because horses in their natural state are some of the most skittish beasts ever cultivated by man. And I'm thinking one freaking out in zero G is probably something to both see and avoid if you like having a head.
I
I think it would
white
be
horse
funny.
will
I think it would
stop.
be hilarious.
Okay.
I think it'd be hilarious, just a horse freaking out in zero G.
Honestly, it does sound pretty fun.
That
Not
sounds
really.
pretty funny to me.
Yeah, but you're a dictator. You
I
find a
would
lot of
never do
weird
it.
things funny.
It's just a really funny idea.
See, you are just as evil as me.
Oh, no, I don't care. We don't have anything. Just, I find it a funny idea. You are probably going to load one into a steampunk rocket at some point.
No.
You assume the steampunks have rockets. They've tried that
We
before and
have
it
rockets.
failed.
We have rockets. They just
We-
explode.
Yeah.
Look at
They're
this house.
Ark, have you heard about the creationist who tried to build a rocket and it just failed repeatedly for like 2 years? I mean, we've probably covered it before.
You
'Cause I
mean
know
the
it's
flat
happened in
earther?
the- Yes, the flat earther who built a rocket, right?
That we covered dying when he hit the ground.
Yep, that was a steam-powered rocket.
Look, I was going to say that you have to respect that man's commitment. I thought he might have been just running graft. That would have made a lot more sense. But no, he certainly did climb into his homebrew, apparently steampunk rocket to prove the Earth is flat.
Listen, you
And
fuckers.
proved his sincerity
Without steam, listen,
with
you
one of the
fuckers. Without
stupidest
steam
ideas
technology, you wouldn't have any of this.
Not entirely wrong.
Didn't we just cover on the last show that nuclear energy is steam powered?
Not nuclear bombs.
Nuclear energy is steam-powered, but there
Power
are
generation. via nuclear.
So you
that's-
could make a steam powered rocket then, Troman.
not how that works at all, but okay. Because technically, the way
That's exactly how.
there are nuclear power. There's a nuclear powered bomb rocket that we've made before. I mean, it's not really a rocket at that point, but it propels itself with nuclear bombs.
That's a high price
Which
to pay
is-
for propulsion.
Nukes are really cheap especially when you look at how destructive they are.
I'm just thinking, propelling itself along with nuclear explosions just sounds like it's likely to result in some collateral.
Oh, and by the way, Arketer, we've recaptured the bear, and he's nice and secure now, and we're gonna send him to you back.
But we'll just need
Only
it back.
because I love money more than I love that bear. You fucking monster.
We shouldn't have ever let you
Admit
tinker with it. Honestly, it was a surprise. Well, certain you weren't going to cut through the casings. Somehow you pulled it off. So I have to go back to the drawing board. But, you know, these setbacks are to be expected, I suppose. I'm going to have a word with the team personally later on. Scheduled.
I loved that bear. He was one of the best workers here, and you made me give him up.
Izu was jealous. That's what happened.
Look, you still have whatever it made while it was there, I suppose. Assuming you've caught them.
One or two employees died because of that bear. So fucking what? It was still a cool fucking murder bear.
Yeah, we're going to seal that thing for all time. Just never coming out of the case again. At any rate, if you're confused about all that, it's SCP related with not dwell on it any further. I suppose I'll catch up on chat again. Speaking of Arketer, did you catch it yet? Any of them just sending out space. Yes, that was very funny of Elon Musk putting a dummy in a car and sending off into space. If we're going to send a friendly message to aliens, that should do the trick. We didn't need to catch it again because, as you've just heard, Steam has secured 1084 and put them back into containment. It's been impossible to remove them from the first place, but we got that fixed now, and whatever else it built there is their problem. Just fuck. Now, run reports that without Steam power, all of their clothes would be extremely wrinkled. Be worse.
That's steam power. You wouldn't have most clothes.
Only in so much the power is generated by nuclear power plants, which it should be really, especially if you're concerned with green energy. That's as close as you're going to get in practice. Solar and wind are nice, but they're nowhere near up to the task. Not yet, anyway. Well, there's something else I found out when I was looking at this article that Orla recommended. Namely that apparently NASA is going to stop using derogatory, okay, fine, or problematic nicknames for space objects. Welcome back, Alan Smith.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're just gonna call. Yeah, they're just gonna stick to the traditional names, like Little Boy or Fat Man.
Nebula
Which were
NGC
bombs,
2392 no longer referred to as the Eskimo Nebula because, of course, we wouldn't want to tarnish a nebula with that association. I'm sorry, that's wrong. I have nothing against the...
He's racist towards Eskimos. He hates them. He wants them all dead.
Eskimo's not a politically correct term, Steve, so you're racist towards Eskimos too.
What's the
Yes, they are.
politically correct term?
They are the snow people.
It's specifically which tribe they're a part of, which I don't know the tribes.
Okay, this article got a lot
Nor do I
bigger
care
all
to
of a
learn
sudden.
Snow N-words then.
No, that's Canadians.
No, that's just Justin Trudeau.
No.
Look, I have no rational reason to hate Eskimo, Inuit, or any native peoples in northern reaches.
Fine, then
No
snow.
rational reason. And there was one incident with Sword Peninsula, but in the fruit basket, everything's been sorted out since. All I can say is straw man syndrome is a nasty piece of work.
Thank you, infidels. Snow Mexicans.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah. I forgot that word, bro.
Or you could just go as far as to call them frostbacks at that point.
NASA has announced that it's to review its use of nicknames for
I
cosmic
think
objects
Rat's the only one that got that.
such as galaxies and nebulas and stop using any that are considered insensitive, problematic, or harmful. Harmful how? What person was crushed because they learned a nebula was called the Eskimo Nebula?
Just one person. That's all.
Karen.
It's true. One person is all that it takes.
I completely agree. I completely agree with you, Concubine.
I don't know how the word Eskimo is offensive. Why is it offensive? I don't know.
It's like it's supposed to be like the northern whatever region that is version of like Beaner.
According to who?
Yeah.
According to the social justice types.
By the way, greetings, Casual and Joseph Sora.
Does Eskimo refer to
His
a
arrival
specific tribe or
is
something?
very precisely timed.
That could be it. I don't care enough for it, but
They call themselves Eskimos just for foreigners to understand them.
yeah.
Honestly,
And
very few
everyone
people that
that's
I'm aware
that.
of have ever been upset at being called Indian or Eskimo because, generally speaking, living in the real world, they have other concerns and can do without pissing their pants over nomenclature. Most people usually have more important things to worry about. Except people who
Like
make
food.
their entire living off of this particular graft of finding offense at things and then extracting a price to compensate them for their offense. And when it comes to, look, they could prove harmful, that's one thing. If it's derogatory, okay, fine, keep the names family friendly. But problematic? The only limit to problematic is your imagination. With imagination, everything's problematic. And if everything's problematic, then really nothing is.
I'm not problematic. I'm a sweet, innocent angel that could do no wrong.
We know.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Press X to doubt.
Sometimes the scientific naming of a space object is either long, unpronounceable, or just doesn't reflect the excitement or wonder said cosmic object does. On actually looking at it, for example, OU4 isn't particularly snappy, but its unofficial name, the Squid Nebula, I'd like to see. However, some nicknames have not aged well. You could argue that some were never okay to use in the first place, but most likely following on from Black Lives Matter protests this year to the wider recognition of systemic racism, microaggressions.
I swear to God, if they name a nebula after George Floyd, I'm going to go out there and punch.
And problematic
Northern.
historical language. NASA has now identified 2 such objects that moving forward will be referred to as their proper scientific names and not their unofficial ones. The agency will no longer refer to the planetary nebula known as the Eskimo Nebula by this name, instead sticking with the name NGC 2392. Eskimo is widely viewed as a colonial term with a racist history imposed on the indigenous people of the Arctic regions. The agency wrote in a
Actually,
statement.
no. Eskimo named themselves Eskimos because the foreigners couldn't understand all of the hierarchies, and they would went, "Fuck it, Eskimos."
Modern linguists think the word Eskimo comes from Montagnais, the indigenous people of eastern Canada word, referring to how it relates to snowshoe. But the most common understanding is that it was a purposeful misuse of a Native American Abenaki word meaning eaters of raw meat, and became a derogatory and scornful term for English speakers to describe the indigenous Arctic peoples. Look, everything used to describe minorities, according to these people, is offensive if it's said by a person whose skin is the wrong color. You can't say these things without it being, for some reason and in some way, hateful. Isn't it?
Well, what's interesting to me is they want you to name them something else, something unoffensive, but they always make the unoffensive names really fucking hard to remember.
And to pronounce.
Indigenous
Okay,
Northern
so-
peoples.
Mouthful.
Hello, Indigenous Northern peoples. I am your white
Well,
savior, here to save you from the indignity of being misnomed as Eskimos.
Or it's the
Haven't I done a
fucking-
great thing for you? Now get back on your fucking reservation.
Or it's a fucking mouthful to say, like Indians, Native Americans, Black people,
Do we know that their explanation
African
there?
Americans. It's a bit of a mouthful to say. They always make it longer, and it's like,
That's your niece.
And it's
They're-
always wrong after a little while, and they change the name on you.
yeah.
People of color.
But that doesn't mean anything because everyone's a colour. So technically,
What was that, Rat?
The explanation that they give in the article, the most common understanding is that it's a purposeful misuse of Native American Abenaki word.
The assumption.
How do we know that? That's an assumption.
Yeah.
They don't have that for fact that that's what it was. Then why?
No,
yeah,
it's not fact. It's just.
Then why?
But we assume it's this.
Yeah. Well, then why do we have to accept that it's fact? And then it's
Because it
incorrect.
isn't. Because it isn't. It's propaganda, and the Eskimos called themselves the Eskimos to make it simple for the people who were fucking visiting them and couldn't understand the fucking hierarchy. They thought we were idiots, so they went, fuck it, we're Eskimos.
I suppose
That is literally the story of how it fucking happened.
But yeah, I guess the easiest way to solve this issue would be to go ask those people, what do you want to be called? Why can't we just do that? And then rename the nebula whatever they decide to be called?
It's because they went to answer Eskimos.
Yes, that's the real problem there. The answer might buck the narrative, and that will make them, of course, horrible people who are just crippled by their internalized racism and need woke people to speak up for their true desires.
We have a closer to home argument with that. Latin versus Latinx.
Oh yeah, and it's Latinx.
Yeah, I just
Stop dying, Steve.
I don't believe
Stop dying.
That's for gag reflex.
anyone really prefers Latinx. Yes, I'm a proud Latinx.
That sounds like a food.
I'm pretty sure I saw a graph on this, and only like 2% of Latin Americans use that term.
I can't imagine
23.
why they would want to. It
But
sounds
only
awful.
about
Yeah,
but only
I just know
about 2%
about it.
would use it
2%
on themselves.
use it.
Most just call themselves Latinos or Latinas.
I think it'd be funnier if just 23 people use the term Latinx, just in general. Just only 23 people in the whole world.
No,
I think
not
it'd be
like
funnier.
that. Latinx.
Probably about it.
Latinx.
Listen, if propaganda has taught me anything,
No, that validates it as Latin.
They might as well call themselves Latinkles.
Tinko, 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 tinko.
if propaganda has taught me anything, it's the fact that if you keep driving it into people's heads that this is the right thing to do, even if the original people don't like it, people will eventually fall into the mentality of it.
Yeah, Arketer is quite right. Latinx itself sounds fine, but this is one word, so it's Latinx, and therefore again it might be Latinkles for all as dignified as it sounds. That's just no.
Yeah,
Sounds like a gay BDSM thing.
Isn't there a term that uses women but replaces the A with an X as well, or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, the infidel, I believe you can still call them supermassive black holes, but you cannot call them Maz's anus.
Which oh, and by the way, with the woman X thing, they actually in the 70s they actually had so the punk movement already had kind of a thing with women. They used to call themselves woman.
Okay.
Yeah, they used to call themselves woman.
Okay. I'm
Wasn't
convinced.
that
At least that's a vowel.
X thing?
My
Someone
theory is
trying to
that just likes the letter X, and they're just trying to get it used in more words. That's what I think is going on.
which is very childish.
Big X industry.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, X to
X
doubt
industry.
women.
Okay.
Look, this could work,
whatever.
but they should know by now that if they're going to do that, they need to get the X top building, so it'd be excellent.
Oh,
Yeah. There you go.
this is just food fight now.
Oh no.
Natani has a point in her chat. She says that the term is racist slang. Actually, it's like calling them a Mexican Kleenex, like the phrase, "My nose is running off my face." At least there's plenty of Latinx waiting.
Oh, yeah, that is bad.
See what's happening now? There's so many X's in chat. See, it's X trying to perpetuate itself. It's trying to propagate and spread and expand. That's my theory. X is trying to take over.
What you're saying is I should have named myself Miss X.
Well, I
Yes,
guess-
the edgy 90s are coming back.
Yep. There you go. See.
Well,
We
you can
should
always-
still return the
X
X
was
game.
coming back.
You can always
No.
reboot yourself as X Team.
Give it to you. Okay, Ellen. No, he's not.
Well, I mean, that would, like, whenever she has an orgy, it would be X gonna give it to you.
Yeah,
I was waiting
That's
for
what
someone
already-
to go
just-
there.
I'm done.
gonna give it to ya.
Moving on, the second name NASA will no longer use is the Siamese Twins Galaxy. Used to describe NGC 4567 and NGC 4568, a pair of spiral galaxies Found in the Virgo galaxy cluster, the term Siamese twins is used to refer to conjoined twins, but its historic usage is traced back to 19th century exploitative freak shows. Yes, because it can be traced back to a problematic context, it is now
Alright, you
potentially
fucking idiots.
evil and bad.
Alright, you fucking idiots. This freak show thing is getting my nerves. Okay, what do you think those disabled people, back then, what do you think, what kind of job could they got other than the freak show back then?
None.
Accounting.
Yeah, exactly. So you're fucking bashing about that, but to be honest, that's the only job disabled people got, and guess what? They made bank off it and got successful lives out of it. The majority of them, anyway, that wasn't in the Barnabas circus.
Yeah, the ones that were in P.T. Barnum's business probably shouldn't have been. He was, by all accounts, pretty much a monster.
It was a smart move to go into a freak show if you were fucking disabled. It was a smart financial move. Unless you were Barnaby. In that case, if you went to Barnaby's circus, well, you're fucked.
And welcome, Morrison Johansson. Nice of you to turn up as well. Greetings, your Falstaff. So, again, apparently they can't call it the Siamese Twins Galaxy, and now they're going to just keep calling it NGC 4567, NGC 4568. Because apparently they couldn't just call it the Conjoined Twins Galaxy, I guess, because that would make conjoined twins be upset that they're...
Twins was named after... Siamese twins were named after two conjoined twins, and their last name was Siamese.
People paid
Actually, that's what
and
they
Cheng
changed
Bunker,
their
Siamese
names.
American adult conjoined twins who were born in Thailand, formerly Siam, and brought to America in 1829. These nicknames and terms, quote unquote, may have historical or cultural connotations that are objectionable or unwelcoming, and NASA is strongly committed to addressing them, said Stephen Tichy, Associate Administrator for Diversity and Equal Opportunity at NASA headquarters.
I see. So erase them from history. Very progressive.
Science depends on diverse contributions and benefits everyone, and that means we must make it inclusive by purging any reference to minorities that have somehow creeped into stellar names.
Asian Siamese twins, by the way. And the reason why they were called Siamese was actually because in their freak show name, they were called Siamese, and no one knew their actual name.
Yeah, because they were in Thailand, which was known as Siam at the time.
But yes, how very progressive. Just, to remove any mention of disabled Asian people.
Yeah.
I'm not for the medical acronym conjoined twins, but I don't see why there needs to be any editing of the names of stellar bodies. And if they're nicknames in the first place, they weren't official already. So why should they even be able to mandate who uses what nickname for what galaxy cluster? You know what? That's it. They're all a fault.
No, they were actually...
Look, did you ask that galaxy's preferred pronoun?
The twins,
I'm calling them all the Fartnocker Galaxy from here on out. NASA studies the Fartnocker Galaxy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just give a number, Fartnocker Galaxy.
The twins were actually okay with the name, and also on top of that, they were fucking rich. When they left the circus, they were fucking rich. They had hot ass wives and had shit ton of children. I lived to a really old age.
There you go.
It's not what you're born with, it's how you use it.
Now.
Did they move to that galaxy, Steam? Is that why?
Well, in this case, it's who you're born with.
Okay, well, let's move on to something at least as absurd. In case you didn't know, the Matrix code creator confirms the the story is in fact a trans allegory. You know, you all saw
Oh.
The Matrix, right? It was obvious from the start, wasn't it, that it was clearly a trans allegory, all about transitioning. And
What's the
just
Matrix?
retroactively that now because the Wachowski brothers are now the Wachowski sisters.
It's math stuff.
Ah, fuck, no, gross. Ugh.
You're gross.
Ew, cooties.
So that's
If I
the
had to
person who
give,
got ink on the roof.
if I had to say that the Matrix was a allegory for anything, it was guns.
You can't
It was
prove
not
that in
fuck
court of law, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
The whole Christ analogy was after the fact anyway.
Yeah. It was clearly there at the last film.
It was a pretty generic Christ allegory in like the first half at least. But in any case, because a character called Switch was supposed to be male in the real world and female in the Matrix, hold on. Got a peculiar size event. The article blew up on me. Apparently, because there was a character that was supposed to be this way, it was entirely a trans allegory. I think that's what they're going to claim here. Filmmakers often see themselves in the part of the protagonists of the movies they make. For Lily and Lana Wachowski, who directed the Matrix trilogy at a time before they underwent gender affirmation procedures in their personal lives, Neo's journey as the main character in the Matrix is always supposed to be a metaphor for transgender identity. Speaking to Netflix Film Club, Lily Wachowski revealed that, in keeping with metaphor, the character Switch was originally meant to be a man in the real world and a woman Matrix until the studio stepped in. So, it was a trans allegory because a character played a woman online.
A character that, if I remember correctly, dies in the first 40 minutes of the first movie.
I believe the last words were "not like this, not like this," and then she dies.
No.
I'm glad that it's gotten out. That was the original intention, but the world wasn't quite ready yet at a corporate level. The corporate world wasn't ready for it. When you make movies and it's this public art form, I think any kind of art that you put into the universe, there's a letting go process because it's entering into the public dialogue. I like that there's an evolution process that we as human beings engage in art in a non-linear way. We can always talk about something in new ways, in a new light.
Oh, la de la de la.
What the hell did any of that even mean?
Exactly.
I thought the allegory was fucking
Blowing up machines was cool.
dictatorship bad. Which
In recent days, his interest in the Matrix has reignited following the announcement that the Matrix 4 is in production, which is the real reason this entire article and narrative exists. The Wachowskis have been a lot more vocal about the allegories for transgender identity that have been hiding in plain sight within the franchise all along. Now,
Oh, please. Those two are mentally ill.
Lily Wachowski also expressed her happiness that members of the transgender community have drawn strength from the series over the years, because they, of course, knew it was a transgender allegory the entire time.
no, it isn't. It's an allegory of dictatorship bad, which is not.
And questioning
Yeah, the right
reality
dictatorship.
and simulation theory, yeah. There are a lot of themes that I can easily recall from the Matrix series. This is not...
Most of it was stolen from Ghost in the Shell.
Oiled back hair.
Another quote. I'm glad that people are talking about the Matrix
What about
series and
the animated thing?
the trans
No,
narrative. Oh, the Animatrix? I don't know.
Yeah.
Was there a proper
Is
trans
that
theme on that
included
one?
in this?
No. Animatrix was made by different people.
Oh, okay, well,
Well, it's
That's
still
fair.
trans now.
It's okay. I get confused to Concubine 168.
No,
You need to start keeping notes.
No, that would require squares, and she doesn't understand that joke at all.
I'm glad people are talking
What?
about Matrix movies and the trans
All these
narrative.
squares
I
make a
love
circle.
how meaningful those films are to trans people. The way they come up to me and say, "These movies saved my life." Because when you talk about transformation, particularly in the world of science fiction, which is just about imagination and world building, the idea of the seemingly impossible becoming possible. I think that's why it speaks to them so much, and I'm grateful that I can be part of throwing the rope to help them along in their journey.
Aquaman Dula, you've disappointed me. Capitalist dictatorship.
Spinal, you dirty commie.
Spinal's Kami? Well,
Is that Spinal?
Yeah, Aquamadula is Spinal Tap 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 Taparoo. God of Water.
I think you missed a tap.
God damn it, you did. God damn it.
I
you
always
fucking
miss the
comic.
tap.
Little is known about the
Communism is
plot.
not allowed here.
It's Spinal 9 taps. That's how you remember it.
Except he
Hang on,
didn't
let me
have
get
9
45
taps, he
here.
had 12 taps.
Okay. I have to ask.
But he changed the thing.
I have to ask. The person who's got the beard and glasses, who are you?
Smoking rat.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
No, Smoking Rat's got long hair.
Oh. Well, I cut my hair. What? Yes.
How does a dead rat cut its hair?
Thanks.
Where's my handkerchief? You're an imposter, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm an imposter.
Easy.
He'll be back.
Throw him in the incinerator.
Fine.
Alright.
No, he's a clone.
I know how a dead rat cuts its hair. Rusty Cage makes a video about preserving its corpse.
Little is known about the plot of the upcoming Matrix 4 at this point, aside from the fact that it's going to be a continuation of the early movies. Instead of a reboot, given the fact that Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Jada Pinkett Smith will be reprising their roles. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is rumored to be playing the role of a young Morpheus. Hugo Weaving's fan-favorite character, Agent Smith, was originally supposed to be part of the movie until Lana Wachowski changed her mind, according to Weaving. Directed by Lana Wachowski, The Matrix 4 features a main cast comprising of Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Jada Pinkett Smith, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Neil Patrick Harris, Jessica Henwick, and Jonathan Groff. The film is scheduled to arrive April 1st,
Can I just point
2022,
out?
and
I
presumably
just
will
want to
also
point
be...
out. I love how even Keanu Reeves went, "Wait, what?" when he saw this on Twitter.
I can only assume Matrix 4 is going to be a stunning and brave allegory for transition.
Yes, suddenly I'm brave.
And here's another funny thing. It's supposed to be released the same week as John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah.
Guess which movie's gonna win that one?
Oh, there's no question.
Oh yes.
Clearly,
Son
it'll be the
of a
Matrix 4 breakout hit of the... what year is it again?
Exactly.
Coming
This isn't 1999 anymore.
It's doomed 2020 at this point.
I wonder if I can make Keanu Reeves a concubine.
Probably not.
No, you don't have
He
that
knows
sort
Kung
of power.
Fu.
And has lots of guns.
Plus, quite frankly, if you hummed a
I'm
single
just
hair on
like that.
Keanu Reeves' head, I'm pretty sure most of the world population would rally to destroy you.
Oh, I wouldn't hurt him.
Much.
Lies.
Oh, I wouldn't hurt him.
So
I'd give him special privileges. It's Keanu Reeves.
Well, yes, that is indeed Franz. Oh, by the way, we should take a moment to maybe do a bit of shilling before I try to read through one more article before the time runs out. We have only 10 minutes remaining after all. Franz, I don't suppose you happen to have a link to your project handy?
I never do.
He doesn't, I do.
Yeah.
Easy,
It is
very
true.
handy like that. Please, let's take a moment to promote Franz Blackout, who's working on several fantastic art projects, including many of the assets for the upcoming duel with Joe.
Indeed.
Honestly,
You can-
get your shilling game together, concubine. I forgot the number.
if you want to wear this authentic piece of Miss Steam underwear, you can buy it at the Redbubble store. Frenemies forever.
See,
Stop going in my underwear drawer.
this is all bullshit. She doesn't wear underwear.
She does for the
Burns
orgies.
She doesn't wear underwear, but she has an underwear drawers where she likes to keep her masturbating guns.
Exactly.
And her execution guns.
Yeah.
What's
The
the
execution
difference?
guns are kept under the pillow as a surprise. I know because we've all heard about the time she's been trapped after springing the surprise a little too early.
That was one, two,
It was twice.
a couple of times. Okay?
It's been a couple of times now.
She already lost
She just
count.
didn't go on Twitter after the first 3.
You know, there's the standard of, you know, surface level people. Then you have, like, bottom of the barrel, like Yuzub. Then you have 6
Thank
feet
you.
under, like Steve.
And yes, there will be a bit of a duel with the jokes. And no, there are no OnlyFans here that I'm aware of. No OnlyFans will be promoted on this stream. If there are, because there is the slimmest chance that someone might have done something as deranged as that.
Hey, I haven't
Well,
done it
except
yet.
for the
You're
secret
fine.
OnlyFans you have.
If I find out one of you has opened up an OnlyFans in my name, again, there will be legal and possibly quite violent
Wait, again?
repercussions. It was
We
handled.
don't
happened
need to.
before?
We've already got a secret OnlyFans.
It's behind a paywall. It's fine.
Morrison Johansson would like to know, Steam, that they're perfectly willing to purchase a certified worn product, but they'll also require a serial number and all bitches. Just the one in Steam's case, but maybe she can share it around. I don't really know what you're going for there. But suffice to say, if you want that from Steam, I'm pretty sure the price is going to be a lot higher than what Redbubble is going to charge you. You'll have to take that up with them some other time, by some other means. Then here now, on this stream, this non-family appropriate stream, but nevertheless, it's still mostly above
No,
the
if
ways
this
of
is-
utter depravity.
Or can I ask a question?
No!
If this is in... Well, okay then.
I'll make it a non-kid friendly stream. Hang on. Damn it!
You caught it! Oh my god! You got it!
Oh my god. That was beautiful.
Well
Good job.
Let's get
done.
for Sonic clapping, John.
Thank you very
Can I
much.
ask a question?
See, we're giving Art positive reinforcement, so it's more
Look,
fun
just-
to tear him down later.
Go on.
If-
Go on,
if-
Fremen.
If
Get it out of your
this
system.
isn't a family-friendly stream, why does everyone call you daddy?
I don't.
That's me neither.
Oh, never call Arketer daddy.
I call him
Stop
Director
that.
Sexy.
No.
Step away from the microphone. Please.
Please put your hands on your heads.
No. No, fuck you.
You are a bitch.
Yay!
I don't like this. This is turning into an ASMR stream now.
I have no idea what you mean.
Please.
As you might have noticed, I've just muted everyone on call. You're welcome. While they sort themselves out, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick moment to briefly show other channels. You should all be aware that I have another stream coming up on Thursday, the SCP stream, that, of course, can be found at youtube.com/alias Arketer, because I can't change it. Also, even though he didn't show up this time, I would recommend everyone pay close attention to the Killing Joke streams, which I also don't have link handy for, but maybe YouTube will. In fact, I'll go ahead and... Yes, and I've unmuted now that it's all finally stopped.
And there's the link to
Okay.
joke stuff there,
Start
Daddy.
again.
There you go again.
In other news, I am seriously contemplating...
Next thing You know, someone's gonna say the dreaded forbidden word.
Excising the Tuesday
Which
show
one of
here
them?
for the sake of a bit more recovery time between exposures to such.
Yes, exposure.
But I thought exposure was fun.
Well, that means I just have to up my game now.
You mean I up the game while you take advantage of it?
Yes.
I believe this is one of your finds from an Israeli jeweler makes $1.5 million gold coronavirus mask. For
Why
some
though?
of you who happen to have $1.5 million to completely waste in every conceivable way, I could do things that money that would make this look like the gaudy, pretentious crap it already is. So, in any case,
Why would
Monza
anyone
Israel,
buy this?
an Israeli jewelry company,
Mask's
is
already bloody uncomfortable as it is.
working on what it says will be the world's most expensive coronavirus mask, a gold and diamond encrusted face covering with a price tag of $1.5 million. The 18-karat white gold mask will be decorated with 3,600 white and black diamonds and fitted with the top-rated N99 filters at the request of the buyer, said designer Isaac Levy. Levy, owner of our company, said that the buyer had two other demands: that it be completed by the end of the year and that it would be the priciest in the world. That last condition, he said, was the easiest to fulfill. He declined to identify the buyer, but said he was a Chinese businessman living in the United States. The glitzed up face
And
mask
if you
may
don't
lend-
want to look like a retard, please look at our Redbubble. We sell masks there.
No, I thought this was
Immediately
underwear.
at this link.
Oh, frustrated atheist. My SCP stream is every Thursday, barring complications, starting at the precise time that this show started, but on Thursday, which would be 57 minutes previous to this moment.
Or 4 p.m. Central Standard Time.
On
no matter
the
where you
Director
are-
of Arketer main channel.
It was 57 minutes prior to when you heard this, but on Thursday.
What if they heard it like an hour from now?
Well then,
What if they're watching the replay?
then they're out of luck, and life is cruel.
Exactly.
Unless they caught Izub putting it to his time zone, in which case they're fine, I guess.
5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
And apparently my audio went just into Roger Wicko's left ear. I'm not familiar with that saying.
You sound fine.
Your audio occasionally does that as you move around,
Yeah.
and it moves to left and right channels. We didn't get it on our end, but it happens on YouTube's end for whatever reason.
It does.
Oh yeah,
Good
YouTube's been
job.
fucking up on that lately.
Oh, that reminds me of something
Oh,
I
that's
wanted to
nice.
comment on. But it's too late now. We have only 2 minutes remaining. In any case, he declined to
Oh,
help out.
no.
Said as Chinese businessman living in the United States, the blistered up face mask may lend some pizzazz to the protective gear now mandatory in public spaces in many countries, but at 270 grams, over half a pound, and nearly 100 times that of a surgical mask, it is not likely to be a practical accessory to wear. That's alright. He's a Chinese businessman living in the United States. This is probably for his gimp.
Who's that for?
Apparently, Steam got
Yes.
attacked.
All of us.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Did,
you as well.
did Ark release another bout of internet gas? Because that always works well for him.
No, that place was incinerated.
Oh, Arketer, I want to try out a new toy on you.
Oh no, here we go.
Are you going to fuck him with himself?
He's got the stick.
No.
Oh, no.
It's this torture device where it's a dildo, and then you kind of just press a button, and then the blades come out.
So a Swiss
No.
Army knife?
No.
Ladies and
No.
gentlemen, grab your
No.
sticks.
We
Oh,
quite objectively do not have time for this.
Ow, my ribs.
Stop dying.
Shut up. You fucking dick.
We have all have sticks now.
Bulgy Wolgy. Fuck you.
Stop that.
Until
That'll make Chit Chat
next
happy.
time, so long as progress continues, success is inevitable. Ostensibly.
Yo, no, put the time with.